Okay, picture this. You're diving in the open ocean, and suddenly you see what looks like a literal superhero cape floating toward you. It's shimmering, it's rainbow-colored, it's the size of a bedsheet, and it's alive. Meet the blanket octopus, a creature so ridiculously extra that it makes peacocks look humble. This thing literally wears a cape, steals weapons from one of the ocean's most dangerous predators, and has a size difference between males and females so extreme, it makes you question if they're even the same species. Oh, and the males? They're the size of a walnut, and their love life is, well, let's just say it involves detachable body parts, and we'll leave it at that for now. Trust me, you're gonna want to stick around for this one.
What's up, everyone? Today we're talking about one of the ocean's rarest and most spectacular creatures, the blanket octopus. And when I say rare, I mean rare. Scientists didn't even get footage of a living female until 2002. 2002, we had the internet, we had smartphones being developed, and we'd never seen this thing alive on camera. There are only 4 known species of blanket octopus, and they live in tropical and subtropical oceans worldwide. But good luck finding one. These things spend their entire lives drifting in the open ocean, sometimes hundreds of feet above the seafloor, sometimes above literally nothing but more water for miles down. Unlike most octopuses that hide in caves and under rocks like introverts at a party, blanket octopuses are out in the open, just vibing, in one of the most dangerous environments on Earth.
With no place to hide. So how does a slow-moving, squishy creature survive out there with sharks, tuna, and basically everything that wants to eat it? Well, buckle up, because the answer involves high fashion, grand theft, and possibly the most dramatic size difference in the animal kingdom.
Let's start with the obvious, the blanket. The female blanket octopus has this absolutely massive cape of webbed membrane that connects her dorsal and lateral arms. When she spreads it out, it can reach 6 feet across. 6 feet. That's taller than most people. Imagine an octopus pulling up to the function wearing a cape bigger than you. And it's not just big, it's gorgeous. The membrane is translucent, so light passes through it, but it's also iridescent, so it shimmers with purples, silvers, and golds as she moves. It's like if the Aurora Borealis had a baby with a Lisa Frank notebook. But here's the thing. This isn't a fashion statement. This is a survival mechanism. When a predator comes near, the blanket octopus doesn't run. She can't. She's way too slow. Instead, she does something genius. She unfurls her cape and makes herself look absolutely massive. Think about it from the predator's perspective. You're hunting for a snack, you spot what you think is a small octopus, and suddenly it transforms into this enormous, billowing, shimmering thing that looks like it might be way more trouble than it's worth. You're gonna think twice, right? It's the ultimate bluff. She's basically going, I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me. And if intimidation doesn't work, she's got a backup plan. She can detach pieces of her blanket and leave them floating in the water as decoys. It's like a squid ink cloud, but make it fashion. The predator's stuck investigating these shimmering ghost pieces while she's already halfway to safety. Honestly, iconic behavior.
Okay, so we've been talking about the females this whole time. Now let's talk about the males. The male blanket octopus is about the size of a walnut, sometimes smaller. Meanwhile, the female can be 6 feet long and weigh up to 40,000 times more than the male. Let me say that again. 40,000 times. To put that in perspective, if a human woman had the same size difference with human men, the guy would be the size of a large grain of rice. Like, you'd need tweezers to find your date. So why is there this absolutely bonkers size difference? Well, it all comes down to evolutionary strategy. The female needs to be big because she's got a lot to do. Hunt, defend herself, carry thousands of eggs, survive in the open ocean for potentially years. The male, his entire existence, has one job: find a female, reproduce. That's it. That's the whole mission. And here's where it gets weird. Male blanket octopuses have a specialized arm called a hectocotylus, which is already a great band name, but theirs is particularly wild. When he finds a female, he doesn't exactly stick around for the whole process. His modified arm, which is literally filled with sperm packets, detaches from his body, just breaks off, and then it swims to the female on its own, guided by chemical signals, and delivers the goods. And the male, he's done. Without his hectocotylus, he can't reproduce again, and he usually dies within days or even hours. He gave everything for one shot at passing on his genes. It's honestly kind of tragic when you think about it. His entire life, a few months at most, leads to this one moment. But from an evolutionary perspective, it works. The female might be fertilized by multiple males this way, which increases genetic diversity. And the males don't need to be big or long-lived to get the job done. Nature's weird, y'all. Alright, if you thought the blanket and the detachable arm were wild, hold on to your hats because we're about to talk about the blanket octopus's side hustle, grand theft tentacle. So, you know the Portuguese man of war, right? That terrifying jellyfish? Well, technically it's a colonial organism, but whatever. With tentacles that can stretch 100 feet and deliver a sting so painful it can put you in the hospital? Yeah. The blanket octopus looks at that and goes, "I'll take those, thanks." The blanket octopus is immune to the Portuguese man of war's venom. Scientists aren't entirely sure how, probably some chemical adaptation in her skin, but she can touch those tentacles with zero consequences. And she doesn't just touch them, she rips them off. She tears away the tentacles and carries them in her suckers like nunchucks, like biological nunchucks made of pain, and then she waves them at anything that threatens her. This is one of the only known examples of tool use in invertebrates. She's not just using her environment, she's actively stealing weapons from one of the ocean's most dangerous predators and using them for her own defense. Imagine if you could just walk up to a bear, take its claws, and wear them as brass knuckles. That's the energy we're dealing with here. Absolute legend behavior. So we've covered the cape, the size difference, and the stolen weapons. But let's talk about the actual lifestyle of the blanket octopus. Because living in the open ocean is no joke. Most octopuses are benthic. They live on or near the seafloor. They're ambush predators that hide in crevices and dart out to grab prey. The blanket octopus said nah to all that and went full pelagic, meaning she lives her entire life drifting in the water column. She's neutrally buoyant, which means she doesn't have to constantly swim to stay at her depth. She just floats, like a really fancy balloon. Her body chemistry is adjusted so she can hover effortlessly in the water. She's mostly nocturnal, hunting at night when prey comes up toward the surface in what's called vertical migration. Jellyfish, small fish, crustaceans, anything she can grab with her arms. And speaking of her arms, they're covered in suckers that help her grab and manipulate food. She doesn't have the crazy camouflage abilities of reef octopuses. She can change color a bit, but it's more subtle. Out in the open ocean, there's no background to blend into anyway. Instead, her strategy is basically look too weird and fabulous to mess with. After mating, she carries her eggs in these long, beaded strands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of them, attached to her arms. She tends them for months, keeping them clean and oxygenated, which is a huge investment of time and energy. When they hatch, the baby octopuses are released into the current. They're on their own from day one. Most won't make it. The open ocean is brutal, but the ones that do, they'll continue the cycle. Quick tangent. Because the blanket octopus isn't the only animal with a wild size difference between sexes. This is called sexual dimorphism, and nature's got some bangers. There's the anglerfish, where the male is basically a tiny parasite that fuses to the female and becomes a permanent sperm dispenser. Romantic, right? Elephant seals. The males can be 3 times heavier than females, and they fight each other like sumo wrestlers. And peacock spiders. The males are these tiny, colorful dancers, and the females are like, "Cool story, bro. Anyway, I'm 3 times your size." But the blanket octopus still holds the crown for most extreme. 40,000 times is just unhinged. So yeah, the blanket octopus. A creature so rare that most people will never see one in real life. So strange that it took scientists centuries to figure out what was going on with it. And so perfectly adapted to its environment that it's been thriving in one of Earth's harshest habitats for millions of years. She's a master of illusion, a thief, a devoted mother, and honestly, just really, really cool. And the males, tiny, short-lived, and single-minded, play their part in one of evolution's strangest love stories. Look, nature doesn't care about being fair. It cares about what works. And somehow this absolutely wild arrangement works. Some superheroes wear capes. This one is the cape. And honestly, that's the most powerful move of all. If you learned something new today, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And drop a comment telling me what other bizarre ocean creatures you want me to cover next. Should we talk about the immortal jellyfish? The mantis shrimp that punches so hard it creates light? Let me know. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you even doing? Click that button, turn on notifications, and join us for more of the ocean's weirdest residents. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.